Greco and fam. I'm talking each and every city with a mic in my hand. New York, LA, MIA, Buffalo, ride. Consider this a world tour with ancient Greco and fam. I'm talking each and every city with a mic in my hand. Dallas, Philly, Phoenix, New Mexico. Yeah, you heard what I said off the head. This a city flow. I'm about to take you on a world tour. Here we go. You ain't know I'm from that corner store shit. Really though, some may say I'm talking too fast. They just listen slow. Back in the
What's up, y'all?
How y'all doing? How you doing? How you doing? Happy hump day.
Happy hump day, everybody. Let us speak to everybody who walked up in this building. Thank y'all for coming in. Make sure y'all hit that like button. If y'all have not subscribed to our channel, please make sure that y'all subscribe to the channel. We definitely want to welcome everyone in here. Our cousin Break Room #1 in the building.
In the building, cousin. How you doing?
Miss
We got
Rakia.
Miss Sexy Ray is in the building, y'all. How you doing, Miss Sexy Ray?
Miss Sexy Ray, beautiful Miss Sexy Ray. Miss Sheena, what's going on, beautiful? How you doing?
And
What's
we got
up, y'all?
Mel. Our sister Mel is in the building.
My little sissy, Miss Talonda. Hey, Miss Talonda, how y'all doing, beautiful people? What is going on, Miss Nateria? What is up? How y'all doing? Miss Talonda started us off with our first super sticker of the night. Thank you so much, Miss Talonda. Once again, y'all know we don't know nothing about, how to do the goal yet. Cousin got to show us, but we don't know yet. You know what I'm saying?
Sister, we got our Mama 3 in the building, y'all. Our sister Mama 3.
Mama 3, baby.
Look at the wrenches out.
Wait, me and Mama 3 was cutting up today. We was cutting up today.
What were y'all doing? Lord have mercy. I missed everything. What y'all was doing?
Hey, me. How you doing? Beautiful. What's going on, y'all? I appreciate y'all coming in. Oh, Miss Shelly Shell's in the building.
Shelly Shell. Hey, sweetheart. How you? How you doing?
How you doing, beautiful? Hey, Miss Jessica. What is
Candid
going
Eye. Oh, wow. Hey, sweetheart. How are you, Candid Eye, with the second super sticker of the night? She says,
Thank
hey,
you,
Nina
Miss
TC.
Candid. How you doing with your purity self? Hey, Miss Lynn. How you doing, baby? I appreciate y'all coming in here and supporting Superfan. Miss Shalom in the building. How you doing, Shalom? I appreciate y'all.
Lady E. I always get your name like lady is a lady or Lady E.
Yes,
in the
Lady E. How you doing, y'all? I appreciate y'all for coming in here and supporting Superfans and everything that we stand for and everything that we do. We appreciate y'all and welcome y'all into the live tonight. So now I'm going to get started because we do have a special guest because we are a little late, y'all. We, had a little technical difficulties, you know what I'm saying? But I want to give her a proper introduction because I grew up with this girl. She still is. She's so pretty, you know what I'm saying? And we just grew up in the same hood. When we moved to Georgia, we definitely was, we stayed in, the projects or whatever. But her and I went to school together. So we were, we like family, you know what I mean? But she has so many accomplishments and I'm just happy to have her on the show. So let me give her a proper introduction. Miss Shima Howard. She was born in Atlanta, Georgia. She has a 17-year tenure with Georgia Department of Juvenile Justice. She has written several short stories, poems, and ghostwritten urban scripts for clients. She is the mother of Naimbi, Jamira, and Rico Jr., and the grandmother to Alan. I think I'm saying that right, Alan. She resides in Decatur, Georgia. She is retired and is working on her next novel. God grants me the serenity is one of her passes. God grants me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, to courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. She has recently written a book that has really inspired a lot of women who went through domestic violence. The name of that book is Time to Tell Your Story. Don't forget to order that. You can find it. I'm going to put her link in the chat, and it's at shimahoward.com. But I just want to welcome to the stage my sister, my childhood friend that I'm so proud of, Miss Shima Howard, to the stage.
Ooh, hi, Shima. Y'all give a hand clap in y'all homes. Welcome her.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shima. I appreciate you coming on here, girl, and sharing your story because, a lot of women don't have the courage to come on here and share their story. And because it's triggering, right? They don't want to bring up, old wounds is
Yeah.
how people feel. Or sometimes they're scared to tell their story because maybe the person is still kind of a abusive type of person, if you feel what I mean.
Mhm.
So I just appreciate you sharing your story with us and coming on here with us and ready to tell, a little bit of the backstory of your book. So if you may, I would like you to start off with kind of giving us a brief synopsis of the book.
Okay, okay. Well, first of all, I want to say thank you guys for inviting me on your podcast. I am honored to be before the ladies of, uh, I'm sorry, super fans. I'm a little nervous, and I think that's to be expected because this is kind of out of my norm, but I am all for it. So each time, each opportunity, I'm just going to step into it and let it do what it does. So,
Yes.
with that being said, um, the name of my book is called Sometimes a Love Won't Let Go. And I have a synopsis of the book on the back, so I'm just going to read it to you so I won't be dragging on about it. So it says this story is about Skylar Patterson, a beautiful young lady who reluctantly decided to give Raheem Shaw a moment of her time, which turned her life upside down. As a result, over the years she stayed with him, she suffered his brutal beatings that almost cost her life. She never had a clue he was capable of almost killing her, sober or drunk. From the very first time he put his hands on her, he never stopped. Very few knew he was beating her. She was too embarrassed to tell her family and too loyal to an unspoken street code to involve the police. She realized that no one was coming to save her. She had to save herself. I hope that if just one young woman reads this book and finds the courage to leave at the very first sign or altercation and not wait around thinking it'll get better, then my suffrage would not have been in vain. Leave before you can't. So settle down and get ready for this heartfelt, engaging story that will make you laugh and cry. I hope you enjoy my truth. So that's a brief synopsis of the book. I actually went through this ordeal several years ago, and it took me over 20 years to write it. I started writing it in 1999, and it wasn't because I wanted to write about that, because as you said, it's hard to tell this story. It's triggering. It brings back up, old memories and some of the things that you probably think, well, I can say that I thought that I was healed from. I realized after writing this book that I wasn't. I realized that I just kind of pushed it behind me and just kept living, kept moving. And so with that, when I am, I guess, progressing toward trying to, move forward in my life in relationships, there's always some sort of hindrance because I have those traumas that I associate with a lot of things. But I'm determined to, just push through it as well. And I encourage anybody that is going through it to seek, some sort of counseling or therapy. And a lot of us are afraid of that because we're thinking that symbolizes that we're crazy or something's wrong with us, and it's not. It is very healthy to reach out and get services and resources that empower you, because this is something that potentially could have you stuck for a long time. And so with that, I was told to write this book in my spiritual connection with God, and I kind of just kind of shied away from it over time, but I got it done last year. I
Okay.
started the process of getting it published, so that's where I am now, and I'm excited about it. It is rough, but I'm excited about it.
I'm glad. It's good that you're
That's
coming
awesome.
out to tell your story. I see that, you've been doing speaking engagements and everything.
Yes.
And, basically, because, when we grow up, sometimes all of us, we walk different walks of life, but I would have never known because you were always so happy. You know what I'm saying? When I see, remembering you, I would have never known that you were going through anything like that. You know what I mean? Because you were always upbeat. You was always happy. So I just never seen you. I ain't never seen you get into no altercation with nobody. So it was like to hear that you were going through that. And you were, kind of not, saying anything and keeping it. And back in the day, like you say, that was the street code. You didn't call the
Absolutely.
police. You still don't. You know what I'm saying? Period. It's just that's just the way we were brought up. You don't call the police on your man, and you don't do all that. And whatever you do, y'all do it in the house. And if you gotta go to a girlfriend house, but they don't, you know what I'm saying? Don't tell my family type, thing. So it's like I would have never known that you were going through that. Um, and I just want you, if you can, if it's not too triggering, like some of the, like, I know it had to be plenty of episodes because I know you stayed with this person because I knew you was with a person for a long time. So
Mhm.
I just want to know, like, something that you can remember to say, look, enough is enough. You know what I'm saying? I got to walk away. You know what I mean? What was that one thing that just clicked in your mind to say, I gotta step away?
Well, actually, it was a number of things, but um, the defining moment, because I left before and went back, and most times in abusive relationships, you do go back to your abuser because somewhere in your thinking, you feel like, this person is going to straighten up, and or you have different things that you lean toward, like I want my family to work, and different things that you use for excuses, and you go back, because I did. But that thing that finally pushed me to leave was, we were having a conversation. I had caught him with this girl that he denied messing with, and through that process, I was just, I was sick, and I was still, I didn't want to be with him, but I did. I wanted him to choose me, And so we had a conversation, and I was just putting stuff out there, and I'm not embarrassed about it anymore because the story is out there. But I asked him, what do we need to do? We can get another house. We can, start over. I'll forget about it. Wait, just whatever we need to do to push forward. And he said, I said, if you just leave her and don't mess with her no more. And he told me that he couldn't. And so I didn't understand that when he said it. I mean, like, what do you mean you can't? And he was like, she's like what every man wants. He described her, as what every man wants. She had a really nice shape, really light skinned young lady. She was a pretty girl, and I knew that I couldn't compete with that. And not that I ever had to, but for him to verbally say that he couldn't stop messing with her, it just kind of like something snapped and woke me up. And I was like, he's done everything. He's humiliated me, embarrassed me, just took me up through there, and I gotta walk away because he don't want me. And so that was the defining moment. And it was crazy that I even offered myself up to him in that way, knowing that, he had been caught, with this lady, and knowing all of the times that he had, physically abused me, not only verbally, but the physical abuse, and I was still willing to try to work it out. And I'm just glad whatever that light bulb is that went off, that it finally did. And I left.
And I'm so glad that you did get out of that situation. I'm so proud of you for making a conscious decision to choose yourself, because a lot of us as women, sometimes we don't choose ourselves. You know what I mean? And I was just talking to my cousin today, and I was just telling her how um, we give so much of ourselves, because as women, sometimes if we're parents, sometimes we're just natural nurturers, and we will give more than we're getting a lot of the times, because we go over and beyond to make everything smooth, because we just want that foundation to stick. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes we will take things that we know we shouldn't be taking. We know that we
Absolutely.
should feel better, but it's like sometimes when you get used to, it's almost like programming. When you
Mhm.
get used to a certain situation, now here comes, now our self-esteem is gone. When we know that we're pretty, or everything is diminishing, because we've been in relationships to where people keep diminishing us, and we choose this cycle of people because of maybe our environment too. You know what I mean? And it's like we see that, okay, I can't just say, for instance, like, my mom and dad was in the house, but my dad was in and out. So it was like, I don't want, you look at your parents and be like, I don't want no relationship like that. I want to be, I want my stuff to be solid. I want to be with my baby daddy. I want to, because, I think I did. I took a lot off my child's father, and it was like, well, my girl's daddy, and it's like, I did. I felt like you know what I'm saying? I did want him to choose me, but he was a habitual cheater too, So it was like, at some point that light bulb had to kick off, and it was like, I can't do this no more with this dude. You know what I'm saying? And then it becomes, you know, the anger, and why
Yeah.
did I stay so long? And
Well,
why
I'm sorry, I
yeah.
didn't interrupt. Go
No,
ahead.
go ahead. Go ahead.
I was pretty much forced into it because even on my own accord, like I said, I was still trying to appeal to him to choose me. You know what I'm saying? Like my self-worth, you know what I'm saying? The way that
Yeah.
it was not there. It was non-existent. So, and you mentioned before that, how we I looked happy, and you never saw me in confrontation or whatever. That was a mask. Not many people knew that he was, as abusive to me as he was. Now, there were people that were around us that would see sometimes, because it didn't matter if we were in public or wherever he, what I'm saying, started acting out at, that's where it was going down at. So the book it's not like a self-help book. It's not like I have the answers on how to navigate through a domestic violence situation. My book simply tells my story, the accounts, and it's gritty, and um it's real, and it's some of it, some people can, kind of like stomach, and some people are like, I can't believe that he did this. And mainly because the 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 story is a true story. So everybody that knows us will know. I had to change the names, of course, um, so to protect the guilty, but um, it's a true story, and I left no stones unturned. Now, every account is not in the book. It's only 148 pages, so it's something that's gonna um, intrigue you. It's going to get you reading, but it's not going to take up, a month of your time. And I believe from people that I've spoken with that have read it, a lot of people are just like, I read it in one day, or, I couldn't because I had to go to work, and I'm going to get back to it, tomorrow, and I'm going to take this the rest of the day. But I've been having just a lot of good feedback, and I'm excited in the sense that not just, for to get it off my chest because I needed that. That's a part of my healing. But somebody is gonna read it and can identify with it in a way that'll help them maybe change the course of what their decision making if they're in an abusive relationship, you know. And that's where I am. I want somebody to gain something from it. I'm not looking for fame or any of that, but and to put myself out there like that, you know, I was told that, you know, some people may question, is it real or do you believe that? I'm like, I would never put myself out to the world, expose myself just so that, you know, I mean, I don't know what I'm gonna gain from that. Like
Right.
the story,
Right.
the stories are, you know, not lacking any, you know, I guess excitement for a better word. You're gonna be, you know, kind of like, wow, I can't believe that type of thing
So
because that's what I'm getting. Mm-hmm.
I have a question for you, Shima.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned that a light bulb went off
Mm-hmm.
when you decided to leave. And you also mentioned that you don't have that your book is not necessarily about um, telling anyone how to survive or get through, I guess, the domestic violence experience, yet it's telling your story, which I think is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
How can you tell us or share with us what you went through once you left, like the healing process? Did you seek therapy? Did you feel threatened even by
Well,
your abuser? And if for so, how long? What was the process with that?
it's an ongoing process. I am still healing now because, like I stated, I didn't know that I hadn't healed from it. You know, I just kept, once I was out of it, I just kept living. I never addressed it. So it's an ongoing healing process. I did not seek therapy because I
Okay.
did not know that resources were available, you know what I'm saying, for me. And on top of it, I was really, really embarrassed, really embarrassed. And
Wow.
I didn't want, you know, people to know. And so I didn't seek, you know, any type of therapy services. I just kept living. And the longer I've been doing that, the more I just push it away. But through that, I learned that there are triggers for me. And because trauma stays with you for as long as you don't, you know, address it. So
Hmm.
for as long as I can remember, I've had PTSD, insomnia. Sometimes I'm just kind of nervous or anxious, like loud sounds, you know, sudden, you know, hand movements, or if, you know, somebody can be like they're about to hug me or something. And I'm kind of like, because
Mm.
yeah, I mean, it's gotten better now because, like I said, this has happened years ago, but those things stick with you, you know. And so I'm
Right.
still healing from that now. I'm still healing.
It's a
Wow.
constant effort. Wow.
Yeah. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, we can hear
I can
you.
hear you.
Okay. Okay. Fine. Because I had to go back out because someone called. Um, I know that you said that this book, and I just want to say that I'm proud of you, first of all. You know what I'm saying? Because once again, it takes a lot for a person to uh, say what they went through. You know what I'm saying? To verbalize it. You put it in a book, and I'm definitely going to read it because I want to get the synopsis of what you was going through and the mask that you wore that I saw.
Yeah.
Um, because sometimes as women, that's what we have to do. You know what I mean? Because we do be embarrassed and we
Mhm.
don't want to, because I got my ex was a little. I think he was more verbally
Mhm.
abusive, and it's like one, like you said, wherever we was, he would cut up, and it was an instance where my grandma's funeral, he cut up at my grandma's funeral, and it was just so embarrassing because we were around my family, you know what I'm saying? And we were at my aunt's house and we were on the way to the funeral. And it was just, he went off for no reason, really. And it was like so embarrassing to where I had to really deal with his insecurities because he was insecure. He wanted me to stay kind of in this. And I know me, and I say this. He wanted me to stay in his box. Like he didn't like me having male friends. Like that was a no no. And If it was, the house is being turned upside down, we will be in the house like weeks without talking, because he was insecure. Like he was just really insecure. And, it would be like he would say stuff like, just, kind of downgrade me. And I'm like, well, if he feel this way about me, why am I still here? Why does he still want me to be here? So it's like a lot of stuff I don't want to disclose, because it seems like you don't want and it's sad that you're the kind of the victim, but you don't want their reputation tarnished. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't want my family to look at him like that. You know what I'm saying? But when they act out in front of your family, it's hard to hide it. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I know you ain't been going through this. People looking at you like, I know you ain't been going through this. But it's a difference when you have a love for a person and you want situations to work. You know what I mean? So I can feel where you're coming from with that. And I wanted you, because I know you said you wanted to kind of read a passage out the book.
Mhm.
So I really wanted you to read that passage, so the people can get a glimpse of, how the book is.
Okay. Um, I wanted to read something. Okay, so what I'm gonna read now is not about an actual event. It was I lived in a lie because I hid it from so many people. And my mom was one of the people that I thought I was hiding it from. So this excerpt is it's called My Mama Don't Play That. This is the this chapter. And so I want to give y'all a little bit of that, if that's okay.
Yes.
Okay. So it's been almost 3 weeks and things seem pretty much back to the way they were. As I dropped Nundy off to school, she told me to be careful and don't break my finger again. I smiled at her and I told her I promised I wouldn't. As I drove off, I started to feel some kind of way about what happened the day he put his hands on me. It didn't make matters any better that my mom called and said she'd be over in a while and she wanted to talk to me. I was not looking forward to whatever she wanted to talk about. I have to go to the grocery store and then I have to get home so I can cook and have dinner ready when Nundy gets home from daycare. Lord, ain't no telling what she want to talk about. It's not that often she comes over. It must be important. Boy, I swear, whoever it is knocking like the police finna get cussed out. Who is it? I yelled as I opened the door. My mama and her old man Lucky were standing there looking like a geriatric version of Foxy Brown and Chef. She had on some tight blue jean bell bottoms, a yellow halter top, and a gray pocketbook with white tassels hanging from it that was way too big for a woman her size to be carrying. She was only 4'7" and 110 pounds soaking wet. However, she was a force to be reckoned with. She did not play the radio, period. We all knew not to mess with Miss Lil Bit. That's what everybody called her, Miss Lil Bit. Even though she was a small lady, she was known to sling a mean blade and then mind shooting her pearl handle 45 if need be. Lucky had on a beige safari pantsuit with a purple, yellow, and green scarf tied around his neck. He had on dark shades and about 7 rings on both hands. He smelled like Old Spice and baby powder. He reminded me of Thurston Howard III from Gilligan's Island, the way he dressed. He talked with conviction, like everything he said was matter of fact. He had a presence about him that made you want to believe everything he said was truth. It was said he had some underground connections with men's whose name you don't speak on, but you knew could take care of things and make problems, or should I say people, disappear, if you know what I mean. Now, I don't know if it's true or not. I'm just telling you the things I've heard. He was a smooth joker. I almost laughed at the way the twosome looked, but the expression on my mom's face let me know that she wasn't in a laughing mood. Hey, Mom, come on in. I hugged her as she entered. Hey, Dad. I kissed his cheek when he entered. In my attempt to make small conversations, I said, it's hot outside today, ain't it? Y'all want some iced tea or something to drink? Lucky said tea was fine with him. My mama didn't say she wanted anything. So I fixed both of them some iced tea and asked them what wind blew them to this side of town. Lucky said, your mama wanted to talk to you about some stuff that was on her mind, but I'll let her tell you. You ain't got to speak for me, Lucky. I know how to damn talk. Mom, why are you so hostile? Why did you lie to me? About what? Don't play dumb with me, Sky. What happened to your finger? I already told you I was at work trying to move some boxes and move some boxes my ass. That nigga broke your finger and I'm gonna break his ass. Now watch me. Where the bastard at? She started walking through the apartment like she was hoping to find him there. She came back in the living room and said, y'all may as well tell me where his punk ass at and pick up your mouth off the floor while you at it. Mom, I ain't want to tell you because I knew you were going to react like you doing now. What in the hell you mean I was going to react like I am now? How the hell you expect me to react? You my child. I went through 11 and a half hours of labor bringing you into this world. I'm the one that stayed down at that hospital with you when, I'm sorry. I'm the one that stayed down at that hospital with you when you got shot every day, all day. I'm the one got your back and you can depend on when you can't depend on nobody else. I know you. I know when you're hurt. I know when you're happy. And I know when you're hiding something. I raised you and I pray to God I ain't raised no fool. Your heart is too big and too open. You always trying to please somebody. You looking for love in all the wrong places. You don't have to look for it, baby. When it's time, God will send him to you. You are a beautiful, special young lady, and he don't deserve you. I love you, and I wouldn't tell you nothing wrong. Now, I know I don't live here, but I want his ass out of here today. He can't sleep here another night, and I meant that. Tell him I said so. I got to go right now before I lose my religion. But I'll be back to check and see if his ass still living here. And I won't be by myself. I swear for God, if I catch him anywhere, I'm going to bust a cap in his ass. Walking around here like he runs something. He don't run. I'm sorry. I need to make this disclosure because this full of curse words. Is that okay? Because I don't know.
That's perfectly fine.
You're fine. Yes.
I'm like, oh my God, I'm just going. Okay. Let me pick back up where I was at. I swear for God, if I catch him anywhere, I'm going to bust a cap in his ass. Walking around here like he runs something. He don't run shit but his mouth. Booger wolf looking son of a bitch. Calm down a little bit. Don't tell me to calm down. That motherfucker put his hands on my baby. Broke her fucking finger. I will kill that bastard. Don't tell me to calm down, Lucky. That's my child. She started walking out the door and she was crying. But she was still talking big shit. Motherfucker gonna put his hands on my baby. He must don't know who he fucking with. He rather walk through hell with gasoline drawers on than to fuck with me. He rather fuck with Gaddafi than to fuck with me. Lucky got up and followed behind her. He didn't say a word, not because he was scared to, but because he had her back 100%. He turned to me just as he was walking out the door and said, leave that boy alone. This is just the beginning of some shit you can spare yourself and your mama. Then he walked away. As I closed the door, the warm air that rushed in seemed to have made my mouth dry, and I almost struggled to swallow the lump that had formed in my throat. It wasn't until then I realized my mouth was still hanging open. My mama was no joke. I wonder who told her what really happened. So yeah.
Wow.
Good, honey. Mama wasn't no joke.
Yeah, she sound like my mom.
That was
Oh yeah,
good. I
she
said
was
that sound,
about
y'all
that.
got the same mama because Miss Roach, that sounded about right.
Yeah.
She was about that life. And listen, that's just her letting you know what she would do. And further on in the book, once you read it, there was an encounter. My mama shot at him and everything. It was wild. But yeah, it's
Wow.
in there.
I
It's
just want to give a big shout out, and I just recognized her name.
uh-huh.
Rakia is in this building. Hey, sis, what's going on? It's good to see you in the building. I am so glad that you are here. Thank you for coming in. I appreciate it. I also want to let you know that one of our sisters from the internet, our sister Mel, has also said that she has already purchased the book. So, once I get off, I will definitely be purchasing it because I definitely want to read it because I said I was going to get back into my good readings.
Mhm.
And I think that because we have this platform to where we want people to feel comfortable in sharing their stories. You know what I'm saying? And, things that they go through, like everyday life. Like, I am so transparent to the point to where sometimes I be like, maybe I'm a little too transparent, but I just feel like I don't like to wear the mask because I have wore a mask, but, for some years too, and when you start becoming of yourself and healing, it slowly slips that mask off that you had to keep on or put on because you didn't want people to know. And the environment that we grew in, we grew up in,
Right.
us, we young, and we how we was, once we graduated or whatever, even in school, I don't really think I dated a lot in school, but once you get out of school, you be like, you date the drug boys. You know what I'm saying? The ones that have the clout. Let me just say that, in the neighborhood. You get what I mean? And you just don't know. You see the glitz and the glamour, but you don't know what goes on behind that. You know what I'm saying? For you to be, like you to have you in that position. You have to be a certain way to be in that position. You get what I mean? And
Mhm.
it's hard. And then it's hard to tell your mama, especially when she don't play,
Yeah.
that the nigga that you love is beating on you. You know what I'm saying? Or abusing you. You know what I mean? And it's unfortunate that when we have to get older to appreciate the person that we are. You know what I'm saying? That we had to go through so much younger because we wanted to experience things like we didn't listen. So sometimes we didn't listen. And I know I'm guilty of it. You
Mhm.
don't listen to your mama when she try to tell you,
Oh,
that nigga ain't good for you. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I love him though. I know my mama she always had that story. I love him. When I wanted to be my baby daddy. And I'm like, she was like, nah, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm gonna knock that nigga over his head. You know what I'm saying? So I know how it is when you love someone to the point of you have to cover up exactly who they are. You know what I'm saying?
absolutely.
And
Uh,
I feel like with you sharing your story, I want you to also tell me um your journey as far as once you want your journey as far as, let's just say, your process of healing. What
mhm.
did you do, or what steps are you taking now? Because you say you're still healing from it, even though it happened so long ago. What's your process of your healing process?
Well, to be honest, I cried a lot. I cried a lot. I ain't think I have no more tears left. And um, as a result of that, I don't cry now. And it's a defense mechanism. It's not because I don't want to. It's just that I've conditioned myself to believe that I cried so much then that, I must have been weak. I must have been a punk. I must have been a coward or whatever. So now I get emotional and I feel it, but it won't happen. And I'm praying about that because I know that crying cleanses you and
Yes,
it restores you. So I absolutely need it. It's a place in my life for it. It's not about being weak. It's about releasing so that you can move on. But I had to work. I had to take care of my kids. Um, I had to, keep going. And so in that, the only thing I did to keep myself, I guess, focused or whatever is I just worked and I took care of my kids. I was always available, to my kids. I've never been that mom that, push them off on somebody else or um, I just need my space or what have you. I mean, I just was a present mom. And so that kind of filled, the gaps or whatever. And I had, a couple of friends that I would just kind of, be around. I ain't never was just like all over the place, but I would, go out with my friends and stuff to try to like ease the pain or whatever. But I just think time kind of helped with that. And he went to prison. So it gave me room to breathe because I lived in fear for so long. Like I would go to work and the people at my job knew to be outside waiting for me because he would, you know, be outside my job. He followed me. And it was just a lot. And I was scared all the time. And I think people are like, they have this concept that, well, we used to fight. You know, we fought all the time. We never fought. And now there has been a time when I did try to fight back, but we never fought. It's a difference between having a fight with somebody and being what's the word I'm looking for? It won't come to me right now, but battered. That's it. It's a difference between fighting with, you know, your spouse, boyfriend, or whatever, and being battered. And that's what I was. I'm not talking about slap, choke, you know what I'm saying, strangle or shake somebody. I'm talking about kicking the face. I'm talking about knocking unconscious. I'm talking about that type of thing. And so I was scared. And it wasn't, you know what I'm saying, because I was a coward, I was weak. But when somebody puts that kind of fear in you where you were afraid for your life, I jumped off a balcony to escape, you know, to escape from him. So that was fear. And when your life is on the line or you feel like it's right there and somebody's telling you they, you know, they gonna kill you and they in the process of it, and you'll jump off a balcony. You'll jump out of a car. You'll do some stuff that you wouldn't even think you would do to save your life, you know? So I know I probably, you know, will always have some triggers, but that doesn't mean that I don't know, you know, my worth now. It's not that I didn't know it then. I hid it, you know, because I was always trying to prove myself, like, you know, and I was always trying to show him that, you know, I just want to show you that I'll stay, you know, try to make things, you know what I'm saying, work or whatever. And it was never my fault because he used to dream stuff and wake up fighting me. So it ain't got nothing to do with I did something. I never did anything. You know, people were speculating, well, maybe you took some from him, or maybe you was, you know, messing around on him and stuff. I was like, for a sick person like that he'll do it. You think I'm gonna put myself in harm's way just to,
Yeah.
so yeah, it was just a lot of me just, you know, trying to keep busy and, you know, with my kids and around my family. And I wore the mask for a long, long time. And even now, because um there was just one trauma, you know, there have been so many others. And when you have that couple together in trying to, you know, get yourself back acclimated with yourself and whoever that self is, because we lose ourselves, you know.
Yes.
And so I
Yes,
didn't,
we
for
do.
a long time, I didn't know what I like. I didn't know, you know, um, what I want in a relationship. You know, it's just kind of like, I don't know. I don't know. If somebody were to ask me, like, well, what do you want? You know, it's hard to say, not just because I can't find the words. It's hard to say because I haven't, it really took time to know what that true love thing looks like. I hear about it, you know, and people, you know, say it. And so, and I know that it's real. I just want to, you know, experience it for myself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. And that said, Shima, you thought he would change, and that's what we think love is. I mean, and that's what we do. We hope and wish on a change, don't we? We always say, well, you know what? He apologized for it. He said it never happened again, and they're gonna work on it. And we forgive, you know, because we are easier to forgive than men are. You know what I'm saying? We definitely will take things over and over and over again because once again, we want that foundation, right? We don't want our foundation shook. So we'll forgive them. And because with every apology, they feel like they have more time to abuse you. That's how I look at it now. You get what I'm saying? The more times that we say, "Okay, I forgive you," and we gonna keep it moving, that gives them another time to abuse you. You know what I mean? And that's just the way at the time we be programmed. You know what I'm saying? And they like, well, they said they gonna change, or because of the love that we have for someone, or the love that we think that we have for someone, we will take several things, you know what I'm saying? Because we don't want our foundation shook. You know what I'm saying? Or we don't want to be the statistic. That I guess that's what it is. We don't want to be the statistic. But you know where we come from, you know how our environment was. We was around a lot of, I know a lot of people that I grew up with that was in abusive relationships. You know what I'm saying? And you look at it, and even the people that they say birds of a feather, but I was never like younger. I don't think I was too much in it, but all my friends, just about the girls that I hung around, was getting abused by their man. You know what I'm saying? And they was dealers. You know what I'm saying? But they were getting abused by their men, and it was like a norm. If that makes any sense, they thought that was normal. And it was like, how could they think that's normal to get, to be walking around the next day with a black eye, or, something swole or something broke or whatever, because, and then they would be right back with that same dude. And it was like, it became a norm. You know what I mean? So we have to look at it like that too. Sometimes if we are constantly in a abusive relationship, it becomes normal to us.
We
It
do.
becomes, yeah.
And even when I spoke on like this street code, like you don't involve the police, and I think that's not just in a relationship thing, it's also just a community thing. Like whatever is going on, you're not I'm sorry, you're not supposed to talk about this is what's going on. You're not supposed to tell that you're in a situation or that you've seen something happen. You shut up. You don't say nothing. And so
Right.
that was something that nobody definitively told me to do. It was unspoken. You just knew not to say anything. This is a black man. You don't want him in trouble with the police, and whatever it is that he's doing to you, you just kind of chalk it up or what have you. And that's what I did. And I
Yeah.
should have, but I didn't know any better then. But it has caused me to see things in a way now that a man could never put his hands on me again for no reason. Like, it ain't nothing you can say. Ain't nothing you can say to me, as far as put me in that situation. I know in any healthy relationship, you're going to have disagreements. I can do that. I can agree to disagree. I can have a healthy, engaging argument. But what you're not going to do is put your hands on me. What you're not going to do is talk to me, like I'm a dog. You're not going to do that, because I've seen that before. I've been there, done that. And
Yeah.
I won't tolerate it. I'll be by
The
myself.
signs.
If that's what it takes, you know.
Right. So, Miss Shima, I have a
Mhm.
question for you in regards to the process of you writing your book. It's a two-part question. When you decided to write your book, I would like to ask you, how long was the process? And during the process, did you find a form of relief with the writing of the book? Was it a release for you? Because you had to replay everything back. You had to live it again in order to put it pen to paper. What was that process like for you?
Um. Well, I started writing a book in 1999, and so life was lifing. So I would write and I would put it down, and I couldn't give it as much attention. And a lot of times it was just hard to recount the things, because those memories were fresh. They were there. They weren't going anywhere. So I would write down something that I remembered, happening, and then I would, go back and read over it. And from that point, I could finish the story because I could tell the whole thing. Then it's just that memory came. It could have been something I saw on TV. I was watching What's Love Got to Do with It one night, and there was this scene where Ike was pulling Tina Turner over the couch, by her hair and dragging her down the hall. And I see this memory, that just popped back in my head where he's dragging me, you know what I'm saying, down the hall. And it just kind of like, it froze me, and I couldn't even watch it anymore. I went out of the room, and I just had to collect myself because I didn't know it was going to affect me like that. So over the years, I just I wrote when I felt like it. It wasn't something that I felt pressed to do, but I did want to get the story out. Now, as far as it being like healing or releasing, I didn't feel that then because it felt it still hurt. And it didn't hurt in the same way. Now it hurt like to realize that not only did I allow somebody to do this to me, and when I say allow, not just saying, hey, just do whatever you want to do to me, but I stayed, right? But the fact that somebody would feel whatever entitled or joy behind it. And I say joy not in a way of celebration, but this is something that you kept doing for years, So I don't know. There was no forgetting that for me. So I had to write it. And even now, when I did my first excerpt, reading it and put it out there, I was very, very nervous. I was scared. I recorded it probably 12 times before I put it out there because one minute I'm shaking, one minute I'm just kind of like sweating, or I'm second guessing it and all of this. And but I did it, and I was angry. Even now when I read, that's why I wanted to read something that could show you that the book is engaging, you know what I'm saying? And I didn't want to, I guess, give the audience this, what I always give, and I guess a moment that, happened, because I get so, sometimes it's gripping and I'm angry about it. And I'm like, why? And I probably would never get the answer from that, even though I've had a million apologies. I probably, never really understand the why in the flesh. But in my spirit, I'm forced to believe that through God's permissive will, his perfect will be made known. So this had to happen. And even though I went through whatever I went through, maybe it's for somebody else to glean from it, to take something from it. And whatever that is, I don't know, because I'm not glorifying this at all. This is horrible. This was horrible. And I'm just trying to put it out there and let other women know, that you're not alone. You're not the only one. Your case probably, is not the worst, because I feel like the worst of it is the women that didn't survive, the women that are not here to tell their story, the women that are not able to have a voice. So that's, I guess, me and others that are like me, that are willing to tell their story, to put it out there, so that be a voice to the voiceless, or be a voice to those that don't even know they have a voice, because I didn't know. I didn't want nobody to know. I was super, super embarrassed and humiliated from it. So I just, in this moment, what really made me finish the book was when my son passed. My son passed in 2020.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and so I didn't know at the time that he had read the book, because like I've been working on it for so many years. It's on my not my laptop. It's on my laptop now, but it was on my desktop. I had it saved and everything. And one of his friends told me, he was like, "Mom, when you gonna finish writing your book?" And I looked at him. I was like, what you know about my book? He was like, "Oh, man, yeah. Sino told me," that's what they call my son, Sino. Sino told me you fine with the writing, Mom. And so then I was like, he read, he was like, Mom, he read it, he know. And it was just kind of like, whoa, because my son didn't find out about any of this until his senior year of school, because I never wanted to change his perception of who his dad was. Whatever he and I went through, I looked at it as that was us. And maybe that was this responsible parent thing that I thought I was doing, but I didn't want to tarnish who his dad was in his eyes. He loved his dad, you know.
Right.
And so I didn't want to do. I never said your dad ain't this, he don't do this. I never did that. But his senior year of school, I had a spinal surgery, and it was as a result of all of the abuse. I had broken vertebrae in my spine, in my neck, and where he had tried to break my neck before. And so my daughter at the time, my oldest daughter, I guess they were talking about it, and she said I guess he asked, well, why mama had to have this surgery or whatever. And he was like, your dad, had hurt her before or whatever. And so he came and asked me, he was like, Mom, he was like, you had to have a surgery because of my dad. And I was like, oh my God, I knew this day was going to come. I told his dad before, I said, you need to find a way to tell him. I said, because he loves you, but he loves me too. And when he finds out, he's going to feel some type of way, because when he looks at his mom, he sees the nurturer. My mama going to fix it. My mama going to get it done. This right here. And so he's going to want to know, why did you do these things? But I guess that didn't mean nothing to him. And so in that, he was like, he stopped speaking to his dad for a long time. And, I didn't feel bad about it, but I felt like this is why I didn't want to try to change his perception of who his dad was. But eventually, at some point, they, ended up working it out. But I just felt that I owed it to my son to finish it, because he was a product of that relationship, and he was the best thing that could have ever happened to me out of that. Some people go through abuse, and they have offsprings from it, and they abuse their kids. They see him and, oh, he remind me of his dad, or she looked like her dad, or whatever, and take it out on the kids. My son was, if there was perfect, and none of us are, my son was that, and I owe it to his memory, what I'm saying, to finish the book. And so I did.
Well, I would like to say condolences to you about in regards to your son.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank
and I think that that's probably natural for us as mothers to want to protect our kids in any way, the best way we see fit. So I think that's what you did. So
Yeah.
hats off to you for that.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Number 3 has posted the domestic violence hotline. We are going to highlight that because you never know who is listening to the voices of those that speak. So in the event you are in a domestic violence situation, always, be brave enough, I'll say. Try to get the courage to dial the number. Talk to someone. It's definitely a way out. Raw Truth says, I'm so sorry, sisters. I'm late to the live. Just wanted to read a few comments here. Nina X7 says, wow, once again, a relatable topic. Yeah, it's definitely, I think, a lot of people that have gone through DV and just never speak about it. It does take a lot of courage to come, especially to a panel, let alone speak about it out loud, but to speak about it to strangers as well. But I think that that's a very brave act to do. And also, again, you just never know who is listening and who your voice is going to affect and encourage to get away from the situation. So hats off for sure. It looked like Miss Annette, Mama Roach, was in the comments, and she was saying a few things here. Mama Roach, where are you at in those comments? I'm trying to scroll.
Yeah,
She was just
got
you got her? Okay. It is a traumatic experience, and some have died because of this. They have a hotline you can call for help, and they will help you out, get out, or help you get out. And we again will pin that domestic violence hotline number again, and we encourage anyone, man or woman, for that matter, because it's not just us ladies that go through it, men go through it as well. But try your best to get out of the situation while you still have the chance.
Exactly. I just want to say that a lot of us as women, we carry a lot on our backs. We do. We do. Because especially when you have kids, or you know what I'm saying, or you are, just say for instance, you are your family's, let's say the person, the go-to person, um you have to hold a lot of weight. So basically we sometimes we have to brush stuff off like it didn't even exist sometime, even though we're suffering in silence. We have to appear okay.
Absolutely.
And I want people that's in the chat to know that it's okay not to be okay, because that causes a ripple effect and that could lead to other things. It could lead to us turning to drugs to cope the problem. And anything that's going to take that mental pain, or sometimes they say, to me, I feel like verbal abuse is abuse, is abuse, and abuse is not good either way. But mental abuse can be the worst abuse to me, because it kills your character. It tries
Yeah.
to kill the person that you are, and
Yes.
it makes you believe things about yourself that is not true. And I feel like when a person gnaws on that and keeps triggering that, it takes you a long time to get back to yourself. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? Wounds heal, yeah, true enough. However, when someone verbally abuse you, the words are already put out there. It's like they can't take them back because they've already settled, right? So we are constantly have this thought when we get into the process of healing. We think about that. We think about things like that. Like, dang, do he really feel this way? Am I really that way? Or do I really look like that? Or, anything. I mean, and and then especially if they're cheaters on top of it, it's like, what she got that I ain't got. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm telling the truth, right? It's like, I mean, what she got that I ain't got? What's she giving you that I'm not giving you? You know
That's
what I'm
exactly
saying? Because since I'm getting, yeah, go ahead, Shima.
that's exactly why when I asked him that, I was like, I forget everything that happened. I won't even. We can move. We could just start over. I just forget about it. And as hard as that was gonna be to me to try to forget about this situation, when he told me he couldn't leave her alone, I was like, that hit harder than any blow he had ever given me. I was like sick to my stomach. I was like, wow, I mean, he made his choice. He chose her. And I had to live with it. I didn't know how I was gonna do it, but I did. But even in that, when I stepped back, I fell all the way back. And it got worse. That's when the stalking, type stuff started. You know, when I wouldn't, take his calls, or I just stayed out of the way. I didn't go in any circles that, he was in or whatever, because I just didn't want to exacerbate it. I'm like, I gotta live with this hurt. I would go out somewhere, like we go to a concert, me and my friends, and he would be there with the girl, and that was a lot to, ingest or whatever, but I did it. And you were saying that the mental abuse is worse than the physical. What physical abuse does is it it breaks you in a way that that physical pain, but that mental. When I say I used to be in the mirror, and I would repeat the things that he said to me, like, you so stupid, you deserve this, you ought to just be quiet, don't say nothing. And what type of relationship is that when you can't say nothing, because you gonna get you gonna get punched if you know what I'm saying, speak your mind in it or whatever. And that way, the heaviest, I mean, I just recently, what I'm saying, through therapy, just was talking, and I kind of I'm this person that I love scents. I love perfumes, lotions, oils. I love, that part of being a woman, that femininity right there. And so I got a lot of that stuff. I always get it. And in talking, I kind of found out that the reason that I am like just overly enamored with like scents and smells and stuff is because he used to, say stuff like, "Oh, raggedy bitch," or "stinking asshole," stuff like that. And I used to be like, I didn't know that those things that he put in my mind or said to me that I kept in my mind would trigger, that, because I mean, I always took care of myself. That was definitely not ever an issue, whatever, but that was probably one of the things that pushes me to, I just like, I mean, every woman should like to smell good or whatever, but it's just the little things that, come together to you. And I also found out that it wasn't that I was so much in love with him. It wasn't that. I don't think I was ever at a place where, because when you're in love, you get to relax in that. You get to embrace that. You get to be soft in that. I
Yeah.
was always on guard. So it wasn't that. And so even with the breakup, that didn't break my heart. He didn't break my heart. Even choosing this other woman at that time, he broke my spirit. You know, I just
Yeah.
will to, just be, you know, probably, what I'm saying, who I was, called to be. And I didn't see that, because yeah, he broke my spirit. It wasn't that he broke my heart. So,
Shima, you just said something so, I think, powerful. You said that it wasn't love because you get to relax in love. You
hmm
can be comfortable in that, but you thought it was love.
hmm
So what I heard was like, yeah, it wasn't love, but they take your energy. They still take a part of you,
hmm
and they take your spirit, but they literally take your energy.
yeah.
And so it's a part of you, so you can be confused and think that is love, because
hmm
they do take that part of you. So
Yeah.
that was pretty powerful for me.
Mhm.
Can you hear
Mel
me?
says,
Uh-huh.
yeah,
I
I
can.
can hear you. Go ahead, sis.
Okay, just making sure, cause
Mhm.
okay, I got things going on the back. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I was just gonna read Mel's comment. She said, "Narcissist at its fake best. He knew you was fresh meat to his lifestyle." That was her opinion about your situation.
hmm
Yeah,
They have
I
to.
also
They.
go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was just gonna read another one. She says they have to break you mentally to see how far you allow them to go. Now that's very true.
Yeah.
Yeah, with narcissist and also mental abuse. That's very true.
So do you think in the relationship though, Shima, do you think that, you said it wasn't, you thought it was love, but you can say that it wasn't even the love, it was that, that it was the spirit that he broke. Do you think that he did a lot of love bombing though? Because they do that. You know what I'm saying? Abusers usually do love bombing too. Did he love bomb you a lot? Like after the fact, let's just say for instance, after the fact of the abuse. He would come in, he will buy you things, or I got you some shoes, baby, or I got you this bracelet, I got you this chain, you know what I'm saying? Or I got you these flowers. Did he used to do a lot of the love bombing?
My goodness. I mean, in excess. When I say there was nothing in a material sense that during that time, that was popular, that, girls wanted or whatever. I had all kind of jewelry, furs, top-notch designer clothes. I mean, I had it all, and I didn't care about none of it. None of it. None of it meant I would let people borrow clothes. I let people wear my jewelry. I didn't even care because it
Right.
didn't mean anything. It was a symbol of I want to make up, and I'm sorry for what I did, but really I'm not sorry, but I just want to do something because man, I went out bad during that time or whatever. But it never meant anything at first. I think when it first started happening, I kind of looked at it like, oh, okay. And as time went on, that was his MO. I received a Gucci watch, or six Versace outfits, or gator shoes and stuff. Like, it was just in excess. And while on the outside, anybody looking in and be like, oh wow, she got it. I was in suffrage. I didn't care nothing about that. I didn't want to go nowhere, because we would be out in the public, and if somebody looked at me that he thought, you know, was a situation, I'm gonna get beat up. Prime example in the book, it was my birthday. We went to this club at the time called 559.
Yeah, we know about the 559 girl.
I had
Mhm.
never been before, and I ain't even want to go. I was like, it's my birthday, and so my friends was like, yeah, we just gonna go have fun or whatever. We get there, and it was going well. We had bottles, and he was introducing me to different girls, that he was like, these are my home girls or whatever, and only for my friends to be like, oh yeah, that's such and such, or that's who so and so mess with, or that's who so and so mess with, or whatever. So he's probably introducing me to chicks that he was sleeping with or whatever too. So um we're at the club, and I see this guy across, and I was like, that looked like my cousin. And it was. And he spotted me too. And so I hadn't seen him in months. So when he came up to me, he was like, cousin. He grabbed me and hugged me. He was like, man, what's up? What's up? I was like, it's my birthday, da 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 da. And so he was like, wait, like, man, you let me buy y'all a drink. And I was like, this my dude. I introduced him, this my dude. And, I'm telling this, whatever, whatever. And so he was like, yeah, hey, man, drinks on me or whatever. So whatever happened, he stepped up. He's, let me go holler at these people over here. I'm coming back. Gonna get some drinks or whatever. So when he walked off, he just punched me in my stomach like hard. And I was like, I doubled over. And I was like, and so when I doubled over, he kind of pulled me like back in a corner. And he was like, just, what I'm saying, just uppercut. And I was like, couldn't catch my breath. I was like, what? And so one of his friends came in and like pushed him, like, man, what's wrong with you?
In the club?
In the club. They said, that's her
Wow.
cousin. Like, that's her cousin. Like, what are you doing? Like, that's her cousin. I ain't never seen that nigga at no family reunion. You hadn't been to no family reunions. So it never made sense. And so I was so embarrassed. But that didn't end right there. So I think it was the bouncers or whatever saw the commotion or whatever. And so they were telling them that they needed to, what I'm saying, leave out or whatever. And so we kind of like moved over to another section and was standing to the side. So when they were like escorting them out of the club, we standing there and we watching them kind of like walk past. When this boy passed by me, you would think he just gone on out the club. He just swung back like with his elbow like this, like bowled me in the face. And I just flew back into the tables and blood everywhere. And when I say I was so embarrassed, I ran in the bathroom. I was so embarrassed. And I was like, I just don't know how to get away from this right here. That it was just that heavy. And my cousins ran into the bathroom. They heard and they was like, where he at? We about to. And I was like, please. I'm finna be in the middle of a war. You know what I'm saying? Because my cousin them ain't gonna stop. They not gonna stop. And I was like, this is just crazy, but that's what I mean. It's just like he didn't even care. Even the fact that somebody was telling him that's her cousin. And why would you think that I would like disrespect you, engaging with somebody that I even,
Right.
it was just crazy. It
Right.
crazy, insane. So yeah, it was moments like that.
And that's, to me, for that act to even at this point, for him to even act out in a club full of people, we know the 559 used to be off the chain.
Mhm.
I always used to try to do the VIP because I wasn't finna stand in no line. I'm doing VIP, right? But it's like, I know that club used to be wall to wall, right? I know it did for a fact, right?
Packed.
So for him to do that in the 559, this is when you know that he's comfortable
Mm-hmm.
with what he doing now.
Mm-hmm.
He
Very.
don't care if it's a million people around. He's very comfortable with what he doing. And that's I hate that you went through that, sis. I really do. Like I would have never known it. I would have never known it. And I just commend you for uh, getting your life back established to where you could be who you really are. The Shima that I knew, the Shima that I remember. You know what I'm saying? Because you was always bubbly. You know what I mean? And I just feel like that's just who you were
Yeah.
naturally. You know what I'm saying? You just was a bubbly person. You know what I mean? You didn't bother nobody. Didn't nobody really bother you? You know what I mean? I mean, just real.
Right.
Now with your walk with healing and growing and going through life's changes, because life do be life. And
Mm-hmm.
are you in a relationship now, or you just not, or did this kind of scar you to where you feel like you can't be like serious with someone, or because I know it happened a long time ago, but sometimes scars like that, you just be like, I don't never want to be in no serious relationship like that, to where we living together. I'll date, but I ain't getting no relationship. Do you feel like that, or are you comfortable with dating?
Well, the thing is, even through all that, I never wanted this pity party or nobody to feel sorry for me. Um, and I still desired love. That didn't stop me from seeking it, because it's just something so, you can't even really like describe that thing that's in you. You know what I'm saying? We're not meant to be, alone. And just because this situation didn't turn out the way that I desired or what have you, doesn't mean that I'm scarred for life, or that I'm not lovable, or I don't desire love. I do. I actually um I met somebody and fell in love after he and I broke up, and he went to prison, and that was my youngest daughter's father. And that was short lived, because he was killed when my daughter was 15 months old. And
Oh,
so I
Oh
was
man.
so angry with God. And I mean, I could say that now and know that God is forgiving me for feeling like that or having those thoughts, but I think that's natural, because I was like, you allowed, me to feel what it feel like for somebody to care for me, and to really, show me that they're for me. And you took him and you left this monster, like, didn't you see all the stuff he was doing to me and he did to me and all of that? And I was so angry with God. And it took me a long time to get out of that place, but I'm so glad God ain't like man, and
yeah.
he doesn't judge
Mhm.
you in the way that man does. I mean, he's the judge of all judges, but he knows your heart, and he knows that I was just speaking from a place of hurt, you know? And so, I mean, I didn't damn God or anything. I just was like angry, that, this happened like this. But um it took me a long time, like 8 years, before I was in another like relationship. Not saying that I didn't date or see people, but I ain't take nobody serious. I ain't want them to take me serious, because I wouldn't let you in anyway. You couldn't come to my house, you couldn't be around my kids. It was just, I didn't see that. And it took a long time, about 8 years, and then I met somebody. And I really thought, it was gonna be what it was gonna be. It was long distance, and it just didn't work out. It didn't work out, and that was about almost 5 years, or right at 5 year relationship. And then it ended, and I hadn't been serious about anybody for a long time. And I recently met somebody, and um I guess we're just, we're just trying to, see where it goes, because I guess I'm learning that in releasing this book, and a lot of the old pains, that came with it, with me exposing myself like that, and me diving in it, because now I got to talk about it. I got to relive it, and it probably makes me a little bit more um what I want to say, I don't know. It probably brings some memories to me, and not saying that this person is anything like that. Well, I haven't experienced him in that way at all, but maybe my insecurities, or maybe um me not knowing how to fully express myself at times, because I run away. I back. I just fall back, and I can become real detached. And I know this about me or whatever, and I'll be comfortable with that. But I'm learning that in order to love somebody, you gotta open up. You gotta, you gotta be able to share. You gotta be able to um express yourself. But that person also has to know that when you've been in a situation like this, that's not easy. It's not easy. Some people may feel like, well, you ought to be able to talk to me. You need to do this. I can't do it in a way that you think is easy for me. I should just, I can't, and I'm trying. And so um, maybe this is, the thing that'll, somebody can, uh, help, heal the hurt, you know, help love the hurt away, love me correctly, because I'm deserving of that, I'm not saying that it's a walk in the park, but I am not by no means holding anybody responsible for anything that happened to me. You didn't cause the hurt, but the hurt, what I'm saying, is there. And if you love me enough, or if you see that, my worth, then I believe that, it can work. So we'll see.
That's a plus. I appreciate you sharing your story with us. Um, Mina, you had something you was going to say? I didn't hear you.
No, I didn't say anything,
Oh,
but
okay.
I will say I appreciate all of what you share. You've been very, very transparent. I do think that someone has listened to your story, and I think you helped somebody tonight. I do. That was great.
Yes. Let's take some of the comments. Let me go back up so I can see some. Okay. Here I come, ladies. Mel said, yes, that is control at its finest. I guess when you were talking about the club scene. Um, okay. And that Mama said, you are a gorgeous lady. Where is he at now? I want to know.
He's still around. He is still around. And I can say this. I don't have any like dealings with him. And especially since we lost our son, there are no ties that bind. And there's no reason, in my opinion, for communication. And it's not about, oh, I can't stand him out. I don't hate him. He who angers you controls you. You don't control me anymore. I'm not angry about it. I just want to live my life, and I want it to be as far away from that type of energy as possible, because
Mm-hmm.
you can offer up, your I'm sorry, and I this, that, and the third, and I've heard all of it. I have, but um and I do forgive you. But what I do know about forgiveness is, as much as this will trigger me at times or whatever, I have to forgive you again and again and again and again. And
Mm-hmm.
with that, you can't be my oppressor. You know what I'm saying? And then want to be my savior. You can't be the one that beat me down, took me through this, and then be like, hey, you want to go get something to eat? Why you won't let me
Right.
out to dinner? Like, no. So I don't wish anything on that man. I don't wish that. I don't want to. I don't wish anything. I don't wish him no bad. I don't wish him no good. I don't wish him nothing. I just
Yeah.
want to live
Right.
my life, and live yours.
Yeah.
So far, what I'm saying, things have
Yeah.
been, that for me, and that's it. My concern is not him and what is going on with him. I know he's around still, but that's not my business.
Right. Now, anybody in the chat, I know that we're gonna take a little time. We'll give people time if they have any questions. We'll ask if y'all want ask questions. Y'all can ask, quick before we close out. Um, Mel said, you are doing great. I completely understand. Right.
Right. Thank you.
Mama 3
Thank you,
said the
ma'am.
same thing. You're doing great. One day at a time.
Thank you. Yes.
She said, oh, and Miss Mill says she is connecting with you tonight. Bless your heart. Let me go. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
She said, I just want to be a big sister to her as well. I just want to help people. That's what Miss Mill said.
She's such a sweetheart.
Mama again, here she goes. She said, you have to heal and God will bring the right person along that
Right.
will love you, have patience with you, and will totally love you with everything they have. And that is facts. That's definitely facts. So if
Yeah.
y'all have any questions, real quick, go ahead and ask the questions. And while I'm gonna wait, at least I'm gonna give y'all 1 or 2 minutes to go ahead and drop your questions. But in the meantime, could our mods please drop the link to get Shima's book? To
Mhm.
get her book, I need y'all to drop that link one more time for me.
And I can let them know which social media platforms.
Please tell me your stuff. Yeah, go ahead and tell me where they can follow you
Mhm.
and engage with you. So yes, go ahead and name all your platforms.
Okay, well, on Facebook, I'm under Shima Howard. And on TikTok, I am under Sino Soup. That's SINOSOUP. Um, and on TikTok, I'm at Shima for real. And that's SHIMAFORREAL. And on all three of those platforms, they can also connect with my webpage, which is shimahoward.com, to purchase the book.
I appreciate that. So I just want to thank you so much, sister, for coming on here and telling your story. I know from our background how hard it is to do something like this. You know what I'm saying? Because people have their perceptions of you and they know that you're a strong person. You know what I'm saying? But in the inside, they don't know that you deal with things behind the scenes. You get what I'm saying? And um, I just appreciate you taking a stance and telling your story and your truth because it's yours. You know what you went through and you knew what you had to do to come out of it. So I just applaud you. I thank you for coming on this panel and blessing us with your story. You know I'm going to get this book because I'm gonna read this thing. I'm probably gonna be texting you on the back end. Okay, I'm on page this. What happened, such and such? Because I'm probably gonna be reading it,
I,
analyzing it because sometimes I go deep with this. Nina be knowing. Sometimes I do a little detailed and go deep only because um it resonates,
Mhm.
right? And it's relatable. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like a lot of women, this story is relatable.
Yeah.
And that's with any woman, and I just feel like it's never okay to abuse anybody, male or female.
Yeah.
But for us, I think that we suffer it the most.
We
So
do.
yes, we do.
Statistics, statistically speaking, we do. Out of all races of women, black women, are at the highest rate of women that are violated and killed. You know, and it's horrible to know that because you think that somebody invites this into their life, and they don't. And we stay. We're always trying to smooth out a situation. I ain't speaking for all women. I'm just saying women that are abused, and just black women in general get a bad rap.
Hmm.
They're too
Mhm.
strong. You're too, you can't let go of the reins, and you don't understand. I have to be this. I have
Right.
Yep.
to, because if you're not there in my life to lead so that I can follow, then I got to do everything.
Not
Yeah.
an
I
option.
got to do
Yeah.
everything. So, um, I'm honored to be able to tell my story, and um, I feel that maybe, like I said earlier, somebody will read it. It's not a self help book, but you can relate to it, like you said. And some of it is funny and how descriptive I am with like describing my mom and her dude at the time, but it's real and it's true, you know. And we we deserve better than that. We
Right.
Absolutely.
And that didn't
Well,
damage me to the point where I don't desire love and I'm not lovable, because love never fails. Period.
Yes.
period. Yeah, that was great. I appreciate your story so much, Shima.
Thank
Again, like
you.
I said, I know it helps somebody. I would love for us to, if we can get a copy or maybe a screenshot of the book, and we'll post it on our community wall along with
Absolutely.
your social platforms and link to purchase your book. And I will be purchasing mine as soon as we get off as well.
Thank you so much. What I'll do is I'll send I'll send a screenshot to your phone, because this one is just like my personal. I've been jotting down notes, and it's not for resale. I don't want that to show on it, but I do have copies downstairs that I can take a screenshot and so you guys
Yes,
can.
then too. Okay, that's what's up. Also, Mom of Three has also dropped again the domestic violence hotline. If someone you know, if you're in the chat and you yourself is in an abusive relationship, don't be ashamed to dial this number, or don't be ashamed to tell a friend or someone you close to, because that could just save your life. You know what I mean? Because you don't never know how bad it gets with the abuse. You know what I'm saying? You can never gauge abuse. You know what I'm saying? It could be a slap one day, and then it could be an unalive situation the next day. So
Yep.
you just don't want to gauge how bad abuse is going to be. I just want you to just find it in your heart. And I know it's easier said than done to get out of it. Just get out of the situation. It's never good, especially if kids is involved. You
Yeah.
don't want to never see your kid. You don't want your kids to never see you in an abusive situation, or you don't want them have it linger over to where they're in abusive situations. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
So you definitely don't want to do that. But I thank you, sister, for being on here. I appreciate all the people who stayed. I appreciate y'all for supporting super fans and what we stand for. If you did not hit that like button on your way out, make sure you hit that like button. If you have not subscribed to our channel, make sure you subscribe to our channel. I also want to thank people who blessed our channel this today. Miss Talonda, thank you so much for that super. Miss Candid Eyes, thank you so much for that super. Miss Lynn, thank you. Our cousin Break Room, thank you for Break Room again. Thank you for that super chat. I appreciate y'all for blessing this channel. I just want to thank.
Sis, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I have to get this in for Miss, I believe her name is Nene X7. We did not read her comment earlier. And I think is due to read it if I could find it. She was expressing her gratitude to Shima.
Oh wow.
Um, because she said she made a breakthrough tonight listening to your story. She said, I went through this when I was 16, 17, and then I'm sorry, I went through this when I was 16, 17, and knew then it was unacceptable, but I stayed because I was young and thought I was in love. And two, never really told my son the truth, and now he's now 39. She came back later in the comment and said, now listening, I think it's time I tell him, because mentally it does still, I think, breaks my heart. Thank
Mm,
you, God, for always giving me the guidance to click on this post. So you definitely made a breakthrough to someone this evening. So just know
Yes.
that God is
that's
working through you.
amazing.
I didn't want her name pop back up when you were closing out, sis, but I think, I wanted you to hear that. And, everything happens for a reason. So yeah.
Absolutely. If it
And
just
my motto is, sis, if I can help one person a
just
day,
one,
because I yes, one person a day, because I always do the positive affirmation. But if I can help one person a day, I feel like I've done my job.
and
You
it's
feel
gonna
what I'm
help
saying?
her heal too, because whatever she, it has left in her that stays with her about their relationship, and she never told her son. Not that she probably wanted to tell him because she didn't want to change his mind about, I'm assuming this is his father or what have you, but he deserves to know because this is healing for her. Not that she's pushing it off on him, but he deserves to know because whatever thoughts that he may have about his mom, the way she reacts to things, the way that she voices her, concern, the way that she might just be really overreactive in situations that, people are, get physical with each other. You just never know where that stems from. And so her being able to explain that situation that she went through with him is freeing for her. And I'm so happy. I mean, that she is encouraged to do that, just through my story. I mean, that's a
I
blessing.
Awesome.
I appreciate you. I really appreciate you, Shima. You just don't know how much I appreciate you because a lot of people need to hear that you don't think that you're the only one. Let's just say that, people. Don't think that you going through it by yourself. We have women around the world going through the same exact thing. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? I think a video just surfaced not too long ago about this guy. He was just brutally attacking his girlfriend. And I guess the friend was trying to get him up off her, but the friend couldn't even get him up off her.
Right.
And she was just crying and hollering, and it was really triggering. And I'm like, oh my God, like this, who was recording? And that was my thing. Like, who will even record that? You know what I mean? So it's like we have to deal with this on a day to day. So it's good to know that we can help someone
Mm-hmm.
in their healing, if that
Absolutely.
makes any sense. You know what I mean? So I just appreciate you, and I appreciate all y'all for staying in here and listening to Miss Shima Howard's story. Please purchase her book. I
Please.
know it's going to be a good read because I'm
So
going to
banger.
purchase it. Yes, I'm going to purchase it. Can't wait for the next one because I hope you do a series of different things, of different books, because now you're an established author. So
Yes.
you got the thing going on, girl. So I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. Sister, you have any last words?
No, thank you all for joining us. We love you all. Hit that like and subscribe button on your way out.
Thank you guys for having me. It was an honor.
It was an honor. It was
It
our
was a
pleasure.
pleasure to have you. Absolutely. Thank you for
Thank you.
joining us.
And we love y'all. Y'all ain't got to go home, but guess what?
You got to get
Y'all got to get the
Gotta get
hell
up
out of
out of
here.
here.
Peace, y'all.
out.